Hi, welcome to another video of my walking robot Mirft2 using the fischertechnik TXT controller. In this episode I want to use the fischertechnik community kernel. I have made some preparations, and the reason for using that community kernel is that so far I am only able to connect to the TXT using either my Android tablet or a rather old RA-Link PC card adapter, and since that PC card is quite old and I have no idea how long it will last. So far it does its job, but who knows. It's well over 10 years old by now. And for that reason I want to use the community kernel, so I can also set the IP address as static. Then I can use it via my own network. Since I have the community kernel already running on the other TXT controller, using which I use for the discovery robot, I have copied the micro SD card onto a new one, which I inserted in the Mirft2 controller. All nice and done. However, I have to do some adjustments. Like with the other community kernel, I had to completely reinstall Python, FTRoboPy, etc, etc. Now by copying everything, I copied indeed everything, including the settings for the static IP address. So what I'm going to do now is make them different, so I can use both at the same time. And to accomplish that, I'm going to log in using SSH secure shell, and as you can see here, by NCP I copied the program for the Mirft2 to this laptop, because after booting into the TXT community kernel I can no longer reach this one without copying. So now I am going to sign in or connect to, and for that I am using the IP address which I have destined for the discovery. But everything is copied, so I'm using this one, which should be working. Thank you very much. And it waits because I have to also on this one acknowledge that I agree with the SSH connection. But I am in. I'm perfectly in, including the TXT images from the other one. And here you can see, oh yes, it is actually the contents of the other robot. So right now I'm going to change something. First of all, and here I have to edit interfaces, because if, as you can see right here, is the IP address which I want to change. So that is a change, although it says read only. So permission denied. Okay, that is too bad. Yes, I know. So okay, let me try it like this. That does not seem to work. Alright. Which means I have to say to use the root mode. And alright. FTC. Yes, I'm in. Oh, it's back into. That is not the intention. Oh, yes, it was. Oh, wait. I could do that. But it took some time. Now let's see if sudo actually does its job. I have to be right there. No, right there. Yes. There it is. See if this works. Yes. So I can quit here. And I can quit here. And then I have to do a if down. So sudo, and this is no if there's a simple solution. I just reboot it. So I exit here and I will reboot the whole thing. So the controller has been restarted and now I should be able to connect to it. And again, a manual acknowledge of secure entrance, and I am actually on. Now one thing I should do, or two things actually, are to remove this one and replace with the Mirft2 and remove these images because they make no sense on this controller. First of all, this, thank you very much. Then 2 and this I have to do in another way. This is copying from my laptop to the controller. I can also do it here, which is slightly more convenient. To FTC add and again a manual acknowledge of the copy. So there you are. Now it has Mirft2 on it. Now I have to remove all the images which are from the other controller, as said before. And this is it. Now I can, of course, run it. Another thing is, with this being already and done, I can still use my Android tablet for it at exactly the same time. So let's first, oops, forgetting one S. Here you have it. And yes, that's it. And one thing, of course, I am now straight through my whole network. No on Wi-Fi, of course, but no longer via that Sitecom card, that PC card. There's another thing. When I decide to go back to the official kernel and eject my SD memory card, I still have to use that PC card, PC network card. So I cannot get rid of it. Do I want to get rid of it? Not quite sure. Just for testing purposes, perhaps better not to. Never know what happens. So, next thing is to control things, and let me go to the actual camera, show that things still work. So now that I have prepared the controller for use with the community firmware, let me show you how that actually looks like, what it looks like. Different graphical interface. And using Android, I can still use it, but I have to use another login, of course, because RoboPro is for the official kernel. So I have to use FTC add And this is a personal setting. And that is the app that uses fixed everything in the other direction. And here in very small print it says, okay, this is a new RSA key, a new IP address. Do you want to continue connecting? Yes, I do. And then let me adjust the camera a bit. What I earlier mentioned about manually saying yes, as you can see here, allow SSH login as FTC, and I have to say yes by pressing OK. Now it would be nice if it did it. Yes, now it has. So that was the manual acknowledge, and it is a very small letter now. So here at the side I have experienced that I can enlarge the letters and make them smaller again. So that is a lot better. And as you can see, I can still use the tablet for connecting. Now there is one other thing I want to test, and that is, and let me see if it is here, TXT Candroid, which shows the actual camera connection, which is right here, connected to the interface. And I haven't checked that on the other controller, but this is a nice. I haven't checked that because I never had to use the tablet on the other one. Here I did, so let's see how this works out, if it works out. I have to turn my tablet and then say OK. Connect. It says a lot, but yes. Configure. I don't think so. Start. Of course, because it is dependent on the known address from the official kernel. So I guess this is not exactly the same. Let's see if I can take this. Well, it says sensor values, motor control joystick, camera control joystick, etc, etc. Use accelerometer, but there's no real way, as far as I can see it now, to actually use it with a custom IP address. So that was a nice idea, and I'll see further into this. However, I can still go to the connection and do whatever I want to do. So let's see how the program does under the community kernel. And to see that, I will use, of course, this camera, otherwise you can't see anything. So let me just use the laptop for it as well. And I use exactly the same command, run python mirft2.py, and let's see what happens, if anything. That is interesting. It says connection to the laptop fails or anything like that. So I have to adapt the program. Now that is an interesting one. So let's go here. And yes, I have to change this address. Very interesting. So the question is, do I do it with the tablet? No. Oh yeah, let's just do it like this. I keep this like this and I change it on the laptop, via the laptop. Because that works quite a lot easier. So, quickly done. And now I can also show you. See, I did it. So let's run it. And I run it again through the terminal on the computer. So let's see if I get any more. That should be the case. Now it works. Oh, sound works perfectly. And it doesn't stop. Not that I can see. Okay, Ctrl C, ending of program. And let me go to screencast to show what happened. So, Now I can actually very easily show you. At least it should be the case. Here I run it. First of all, here it shows that I still had the wrong IP address. And then it says not motor. Here I have to go to with the manual acknowledge. There I am. I show the code. There we are. And here you can see print not motor, print sound. And that's exactly what it did. And not only that, it did also do this for the very first time, finally. So it does work. The only question is, will it keep doing that? Will it just keep doing so? And that is what I wonder. Here I ended it with a keyboard interrupt. But fact is, using the official kernel I didn't manage. With the, well, at least with my program. The simple demo worked better, but not as much as I had intended and hoped. And it isn't written by me. So this works. Let's do it another time. One more time. So I'm lifting it on the ground because I'm not interested in walking right now, but more in the sound. There we go. Camera not connected. I don't like that message. All right. I don't like this either. So I have to kill process 1389. Thank you. And try again. Lifting it again. Now disconnected. Oh, there you go. So what I can do and should do is making this a for loop or an if loop, if condition, so that it does it just a few times. Well, there is already if, but that is if the text sound finished. Put a counter in it, have it do it a few times, and that should be alright. But what I've shown now is first of all the community kernel works nicely with its own IP address on the network. I can access it using the laptop and using the tablet still. PC card will still be necessary for when running your visual kernel, because for some reason the wireless embedded into this laptop is somehow too new, or whatever, for connecting to this controller. And there's another thing I could try, but for that I need the other controller to be online as well, and that means that I can control one by the other. But that is for another time. For now, I think this is a very nice idea, very nice experiment, promising for the future. So for now, thank you for watching, and to be continued for sure.